Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, well, if you clicked on this because of the name of the title, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Cosmic Crucible, but we're also here to talk about it a little bit in the context of Apocalypse. And I want to have a broader discussion here as well, both about game modes such as Cosmic Crucible or Alliance War, and how it relates to Apocalypse in the current, what we're doing with the Scourges, with Archangel coming around not too long from now. And I want some input from you guys, the players, on maybe I'm insane. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm just not getting, but I'm actually not putting a lot of effort into these game modes these days, for a lot of reasons. And I think if you went back and watched my video maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, when I talked about with Valley Flying about how I just don't think a lot of players are going to be getting Big Boy Apocalypse, I think the conversation shifts a little bit, especially for us veteran players who, are trying to get Gear 17 stuff, but it really doesn't mean anything at all anymore. Now, if you're someone who is still on their way up to Dark Dimension 5 or just only recently cleared it, there might still be some value, in these other game modes for you. But I'm just starting to wonder what that actually is. So we're going to go into further detail about that. And again, I want this to be a conversation piece. This isn't me telling you what to do or what not to do. It's just me kind of wanting to gauge the community a little bit and get some thoughts from you. So hopefully you guys will watch this. And by the end of it, maybe you can leave a comment down below and let me know how you feel overall. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. And I want to start here. Also, congratulations to Headhunter from my Trial 1 defeat, and also congratulations to JS2357, who I have lost to for a second time. Or my second trial is going to be a loss. Some of this I've been trying out new things on Cosmic Crucible, some new combination of characters, including Hela and Zombie Iron Man, just kind of using them in a different way. So yeah, that's incurred some losses on my end because there's no way to practice it, right? So I kind of have to do it live, and then if it doesn't work, then I end up losing probably, because I find that Cosmic Crucible is often, within 1, maybe 2 attacks, and that makes or breaks the game. So, or the match rather. And so that's what ended up happening to me. Now, I want to start by saying that, if you notice, we'll go to the store very briefly. If you notice for me, and by the way, I'm in Diamond 3. So as far as, what kind of rewards I'm getting from this, it's Diamond 3. And you may or may not notice, how much Crucible credits that I have, both in regular Crucible credits, but actually both in the Elite Crucible credits. I'm just not doing anything, really. For the most part, what I am spending my Crucible credits on, the occasional unique that I might need. And so that's like a character, for me, now it's like Gamma Radiation. That I think I need one. I need one Gamma Radiation for Abomination to G16 him. Otherwise, I'm done all of the characters for the Horsemen up until this point. Otherwise, I'm buying, on occasion, G17 minis for the Mutant and Mystic variety. And that's about it. I'm skipping Bio, I'm skipping the other ones. And the reason for this is because I am I'm planning to G17 Archangel, and that's it. I don't know if, for those of you who did watch my video with Valley Flying, that was about 2 collabs ago, when I talked about, Big Boy Apocalypse, and that's just because I really don't think that any of us, myself included, have any chance in hell in getting Apocalypse at the maxed out version. We're still talking about the deficit of Blue 4 Ions to get the baby Apocalypse, which is G16 for all the characters. Honestly, no problem. G16 for all the characters, I don't think that's a problem. Maybe for some people who are newer or are still climbing, that might be an issue. But I mean, for veteran players, absolutely not an issue, in my opinion. What is the issue is obviously Blue 4. But why this is a thing is because now I'm sitting here wondering, what am I using my Crucible credits on? Why do I want to get G17 minis? Why does this matter? And before, we were kind of spending we were spending Crucible credits. On occasion, we were farming, Origin gear, because that was when we were still doing the climb for Dark Dimension 5 for those people who still needed it. And it, you know, there's really no point in buying these anymore because you can farm these right out of the hard mode campaigns. And I'm really happy for that, actually, because the hard mode campaigns represents, you know, quite a lot of good farming. We'll touch on that a little bit as well. But otherwise, you know, really the only thing to spend your credits on is the minis. And then I have all of these elite credits with 67 teal Crucible orbs that I could open. And probably some people are wondering, Boilon, why don't you open them? And really, it's because I don't need them at the end of the day. And I'm in this weird, awkward spot. And I wonder if anyone else is here, especially towards the veteran players. You know, are you hoarding them too? What am I hoarding them for? I don't even know. Like, am I hoping, maybe I'm hoping there's a teal 2 orb that gives Gear 17 minis. But even then, I'm just wondering, like, what am I doing it for? Honestly, because I've made the realization that we're not going to get Big Apocalypse. T17 for all 20 to 25 characters, plus Blue 5. Really important. Blue 5, not Blue 4. You know, like, we don't even have all the Blue 4 requirements, right? And so going from that to 5 on the same, it's just not happening. Like, I'm sorry. It's just like, I could math this all day long, but it's just flat out, it's not going to happen. Like, I will eat a sock if free-to-play players can get, or even moderate spenders can even get all of the requirements for Blue 5 before he comes out. I think it's reserved for, like, the top 50, top 100 players, and that's absolutely it. So what am I doing with my T17 gear pieces? That's what I'm coming back to, and I'm really trying to struggle with this one. What am I doing it for? And the only thought that crossed my mind was that maybe that we should be holding it for the next big bad guy. You know, because if G16 is the baseline for Baby Apocalypse, and G17 is the baseline for Big Apocalypse, then that would assume, or I would assume, that the next character is going to be a baseline of G17 with a big version of G18 right down the line. So I guess that's what I'm saving my G17 stuff for. But then I'm like, I don't even, like, you don't even need Gear 17 for existing PvE content. So, like, I just don't know, like, this feels so weird. It feels so weird. And when you compare these game modes, like Cosmic Crucible and Alliance War even, like, Alliance War is super fucking outdated. I'm sorry to swear there, I didn't mean to. But it really is. There's, like, one row of teal gear. And, like, I'm barely spending my war credits. I'm buying Echo when she shows up. My Scarlet Spider is 7-star. And so there's absolutely, like, zero value in war now, like, because there's just nothing to get anymore. And a lot of and aside from the T16 minis, which I do buy on occasion, everything else is farmable. Origin pieces are farmable now. And they don't have that teal orb yet. So, even when the teal war orb comes out, what am I getting? T16 minis, maybe? Like, which, again, I don't really need tons of, because, like, I'm already past that point. So, I don't know. I feel that because I'm not a heavy spender, I am a veteran player, I feel I'm in a particular situation that maybe some of you guys watching this might be in, and whether or not you feel the same way as I do right now. I'm feeling at a bit of a loss. So, you know, I do spend a lot of my campaign energy farming for the hard mode difficulties, because I feel like there's, you know, a lot of value in here. You know, there's a lot of great stuff. There's Cersei as well. But just in general, the teal origin gear pieces, there's slightly more gold and training modules. But the teal origin is a big thing, because these cost quite a bit of money in the store. Don't buy these for gold. Please don't ever do that. Because especially now that you can do this and farm this with relative ease, you know, you're now farming these at a much, and not to mention orange pieces, which drop like 4 to 8 at a time. You know, it's crazy. You're getting origin pieces at such a fast pace than ever before that really it kind of loses a lot of value in these other things like Cosmic Crucible and Alliance War when you can just get it directly with energy. You know, I'm farming these right now a little bit, I think, or I was, because I didn't have a ton of them. But, you know, I'm starting to get so many of these origin pieces between the new origin challenges and the farming directly here. Like, I have so many. And really the only thing, and I could G16 a crap ton of characters, but, like, why? Why do I want to? What am I doing this for? And maybe I'm in a bit of an existential crisis here, because I'm kind of wondering, what am I doing in the game? Or what should I be doing in the game? And why am I not having a little bit more fun? And I don't know, right? And so I want to pivot really quickly, just one last time, to Cosmic Crucible. And I'm actually, as far as where my trophies are, I'm still I'm casual for me. Like, I'm not putting a ton of hardcore effort in, but I am in the Diamond 3, which is kind of like on the cusp, or I was on the cusp before I started losing, to Masters. And I'm not taking this seriously because I just don't need the credits. Like, I'm just going to keep hoarding them, I guess, but I'm not really sure what I'm doing it for. And I guess that's the biggest issue. Is, yes, Cosmic Crucible does have more value than War, because War has there's abysmal value in Alliance War right now. But even now, I'm starting to question what the value of Cosmic Crucible is in the post sort of hard mode campaigns, post DD5 kind of scenario here, because once you get your characters for G16 towards Apocalypse, towards Baby Apocalypse, I'm just like out of things to do. Because once I've come to the realization that Big Apocalypse is not on the cards at all, then all of this stuff becomes meaningless. What I did like about Dark Dimension 5 was that there was always something to push towards. And that's why I feel that this is significantly different than what Apocalypse offers for us this year. Because when Dark Dimension 5 came out, there was stuff here to do. Like, you would need G16 characters to enter, and then you would need city characters, and then, so, like, you could progress. You would get your first 5 characters, and then your next 5 characters, and then your next 5 characters. There was progression along the way, and it felt a little bit better. Whereas now, when it comes to Apocalypse, you're essentially waiting. There's no race. To an extent, there's no race. It's just us waiting for the timer for the sagas to come out, and then eventually Apocalypse to come out, right? And so that's, I guess, my biggest issue. Is that there is no progression in that sense that we can follow, like the Dark Dimension race, where we could see the leaderboard and people were getting closer, and it was kind of exciting, actually, back then, because then we would kind of get to follow along ourselves and talk about what characters people are using. Here, there's none of that. Everyone is getting the same thing. I guess the only race there would be people who are building, who have their Blue 4 and Blue 5 ions. I'm not even bothering to talk about Blue 5 ions, because that's crazy and never happening for players like myself. And so all that leaves me left for Apocalypse, I guess, is collecting Blue 4 ions. Not even the teal gear, because if you like check my just brief scrolling without even like looking through, you can see that I have the majority of my characters tier 16 that I pause if you need to, but the characters that I need to for Apocalypse are tier 16. And some of those who aren't, because I took them to Dark Dimension 5, and then some other ones like 2099 who I just did anyways. But by and large, I have all of my characters that I need so far at tier 16 for Apocalypse. And that's great, I guess. But now it's left me kind of bored, because I'm wondering, what should I be doing with my game? What should I be doing with my resources other than hoarding? So we kind of laughed at saying Marvel Horde Force, but is that where we're at right now? Is that where the game is? Because that's all I'm doing? I'm kind of hoarding with the intention that I'll end up using it for the next big guy. But then that's or gal, or whoever, right? And so that's left me with this weird position where I'm continually hoarding, but I don't want to hoard. It's just I don't find any real big value in upgrading my characters. I G17'd my Horseman legendaries, and the only reason I did that, well, I didn't start thinking about this stuff until after I'd already done it on Morgan Le Fay and Rogue. And then I did it on Red Hulk just because, and then now we're here, I'm like, I might as well do it on Archangel. But after that, I'm not G17'ing any of the other team members, because there's just not going to be enough gear to go around, and not enough Blue 5 ions to go around for me to get Big Apocalypse. No point at all. So now this left me in a very awkward scenario where I just don't know what I'm playing for as much anymore. We play it for the hero collector aspect, but as far as my gearing goals, I don't have any goals. And I guess that's what Dark Dimension 5 provided for me, and why I'm not getting it here with Apocalypse. And I'm wondering if anyone else feels the same way. Especially for those of you like near the top, or even further past me. Like, how are you feeling in terms of your game goals? In terms of your Marvel Strike Force goals? What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated to keep going in playing the game? And maybe I'm not bored as such, but I just don't have any of those personal goals. And maybe that's what's changed for me. But I would love to get some input from you. So I was kind of all over the place in this video a little bit, but I guess this kind of talks about my where I'm at right now in Marvel Strike Force and what I've been thinking about. And I'm hoping that maybe some of you have some feedback to maybe give to me, or tell your own experiences of what you've been doing in Marvel Strike Force to keep you going as well, because I'd love to hear that from you. So let me know in the comments down below, please, because I really want to hear back from some people about like what they're doing. And that's it. So more videos to come, of course. I'm trying to be more positive generally. This is I don't consider this to be a negative video. I just want to get that out there. I needed to get some things off my chest. So that's it, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.